This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
All right, good Tuesday morning to you. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Evan Thomason. Showing myself in just a moment. Want to give you a quick look to the latest here in the tropics. This is newly formed Tropical Storm Helene in the western edge of the Caribbean Sea. This just formed 30 minutes ago. National Hurricane Center just officially called this system Tropical Storm Helene at 10 a.m. Central Time. It is now 10:30, which means it's time to get going here on KSLA News 12 First Alert Weather Breakdown. A lot to come from this system as it's slowly moving up to the north and west into the Gulf of Mexico. Good morning. Hope you're having a good one out so far. I am First Alert Meteorologist Evan Thomason here in KSLA News 12. Again, I hope you're having a fantastic Tuesday out so far. Locally, things aren't too shabby. We got a little bit of some gloomy skies around, a lot of cloud cover that started to gather into the Arctic for a separate reason from the tropics. That's because we got a cold front coming on through here locally, which is actually going to help us. It's helping to drive out the cold front. Or excuse me, wrong pronoun phrasing there. The cold front is helping to basically push out the tropical system away from the Arctic. We'll get into that in just a little bit. First of all, I want to say hi to Facebook here. We don't stream that often on Facebook. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it very much. We don't often stream on Facebook, mainly because typical summer sunshine doesn't really entirely, get too much hype on Facebook. Doesn't really, you can watch us on KSLA.com and watch us on YouTube always. But today we're going on Facebook mainly because we have a tropical storm, Helene. It's not just the fact of having the tropical storm in and of itself. It's the fact that it's going into the Gulf of Mexico, and it's likely going to become a major hurricane within 48 hours. It just formed, and within 48 hours, it's expected to become a major hurricane. That's how much it's expected to ramp up over the next few days, potentially a life-changing storm. And for those, mainly in Florida, we'll get into exactly who this storm is going to affect a little later on. So, yes, again, you can watch this at KSLA.com or on YouTube and as well on Facebook as well. I know for those of you watching KSLA.com are like, oh, I'm sitting here nice and cozy watching you, on my phone. The reason you can watch us also on Facebook and YouTube, and the greatest thing about using those two platforms is you can type in your comments to ask some questions. Comment just anything you want me to live and learn about, so to speak. Yeah, I will answer any questions you guys have here live on this stream. I already see one comment on Facebook that I will get to in just a little bit. But let's get into, first of all, the rundown here for the show today. It's mainly two different things. It's talking first always about the local forecast. We always do that in every single First Alert Weather Breakdown here on KSLA News 12. If you on Facebook want to catch us at all, we mainly stream this again on YouTube and on KSLA.com and on our live stream. Today we're talking about the rain. Not as much today. Rain is going to be in the forecast mainly for tomorrow morning, but overall it's kind of gloomy, and it kind of gives you that rainy feeling in for today with very muggy conditions still outside today regardless. We're going to get into that local forecast in just a little bit, but the only other thing we're talking about is Tropical Storm Helene. Not only are we talking about it for today, but we're previewing it again for tomorrow, because I honestly see myself talking about this for 3 straight days up until that landfall point on Thursday. Anything, anytime, anywhere, or anytime anything is in the tropics, specifically in the Gulf of Mexico, we want to highlight it and make sure, first of all, and foremost of all, it is staying away from the Arctic, which, first of all, the answer to that with this system is yes. It will be staying mostly east of the Arctic. It's actually going to alter our weather a little bit late this week on Friday and Saturday, giving us a slight chance of wet weather, actually, from Helene into the Arctic. We'll talk about how that's going to happen here later on. Again, I hope you guys are having a great day on Tuesday. Let's get straight into it. All right, lots to get to. Again, for those of you on Facebook just looking forward to the Helene information, we will get to that in the next little block after commercial break. For now, let's talk about what's going on here locally in the Arclitex, because we got our own cold front still to get through here locally before we even deal with any impacts from Helene whatsoever. All right, so let's get a look outside. Brand new Matthews Landscape Skycam in Shreveport live. For those of you, by the way, putting your questions and comments down in Facebook and YouTube, I promise I'm not going to ignore you guys. I will answer those starting in the next block. Promise you. I'm going to answer those in the next block and the last block. We always have 3 blocks. We have 2 commercial breaks, and then we are done, essentially. That's how this all rolls. For the first block, I just want to get a smooth local forecast done first, and then we can talk about Helene, and then we talk about any of the questions you guys have with that or the local forecast. So I see you guys already writing down some comments. I promise I will get to you each one by one. Just stick around. Stick around with me, please. All right, Matthews Landscape. There's just tons to talk about. First of all, cloudy, gloomy skies in store for today. It's still going to be hot. The cold front hasn't really come through yet because we haven't really seen the rain showers with the system really at all. So it's gloomy today, but it's mostly going to stay dry. We've seen some rain showers on the horizon out to our west and out to our east, but nothing here locally yet at all. And Tropical Storm Helene is not going to affect our weather again until late in the work week, if not until the weekend. So for the short-term forecast, let's talk about what's happening. Got a cold front that's mainly passing us here through today into tomorrow. Today it's cooling us down just slightly, but especially by Thursday, probably Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to drop the high temperatures considerably. There you see a huge shade of blue. That indicates that we have high temperatures dropping below their typical averages. Averages for this time of year now range between mainly the mid to somewhere in between the mid to upper 80s here for this point, and the temperatures are going to continue to fall a lot more than that, or a little more than that here, heading into the second half of the work week. We're talking highs into the lower 80s nicely. On top of that, low humidity behind this cold front as well before we start seeing some signs of us starting to warm up just a little bit, mainly in for the second half of this coming weekend. So let's put some numbers behind that, shall we? I'm a math and science major. I love looking at numbers, and let's show you how exactly the temperatures are going to feel like in for this afternoon. So again, one last toasty day in store for today, and that includes Natchitoches, which I was covering for a second. 98 this afternoon still potentially for Natchitoches. 94 in Shreveport as it feels like temperature around for then. But cold front again comes through with the rain here for tomorrow morning. We'll get to the rain side in just a moment. But for the temperatures, oh man, they only get into the lower 80s in for tomorrow afternoon. That's going to be great to enjoy. I promise you that. And that's going to carry on throughout most of the rest of the work week, which will be great too. All right, so future track. In for the rest of today, we got straight chances of rain, mainly possible in some of our southern counties and parishes, Natchitoches, Hemp Hill, Nacogdoches as well. And then continuing on into tomorrow, that's when we'll look for another round of scattered storms throughout the entire Arclitex, mainly starting early tomorrow morning. Looks like during the start of the morning show, around 4 or 5 in the morning, carrying into the rest of the region here for the rest of the morning commute mostly. And hopefully by, I'd say, a little late lunchtime into the afternoon, we'll hopefully start to dry things up. And by Thursday, you're looking at sunshine back into the forecast then before having a slight chance of wet weather on Friday and Saturday. Now, it's only at 20% chance. That's going to be from Tropical Storm Helene, which is newly formed. We'll talk about how and why that's bringing just a little chance of wet weather into the Arclitex here locally, just coming up after one more break. But let's just get through the rest of the local 7-day forecast. I can't count. 90 degrees here for today again. Temperatures down into the lower 80s here by tomorrow, and then they stay in the 80s through the rest of your 7-day forecast. Most of the rain, again, over the next 7 days is coming tomorrow morning. Most of us will see rain showers. Most of the rain totals looking to mainly be somewhere in the ballpark of probably, I'd say, around a half an inch, maybe slightly greater rain totals up near Texarkana for the next week. We'll get into why that is in just a little bit, because I think we have some little greater rain chances up towards Texarkana in the northern half of the Arclitex for your Friday and Saturday, where highs around 80 degrees here for both Friday and Saturday. If you notice, the lows getting down into the lower 60s, which would be great too. Then we see a little sign of a warm-up, a little warm-up at that, with highs around 86 to start off next work week. All right, so that's your local forecast here for the next several days. Again, look out for that chance of rain here for tomorrow. Bring out the umbrella on the way to work and give yourself some extra time. Besides that wet weather tomorrow and maybe a slight chance of rain in for your Friday and Saturday, it's looking dry, and especially for the 12-day forecast heading into next work week. All right, so that's, again, the local forecast. We're going to talk all about Tropical Storm Helene, and before I go for a real quick break, I see tons of comments on Facebook. I promise you I'm going to answer them after the break. I'm going to start with that, and then we'll go into Helene. In fact, some of your questions that you have as well from Facebook might be answered in Helene's forecast. If not, I will still answer them regardless, okay? A man of my word. So just stick around with us, all right? We'll be back after a quick 2-minute break and a sip of water. Cheers. I'll be back after this. Alrighty, welcome to First Alert with a Breakdown. Welcome back, I should say, KSLA News 12. Thank you for taking your time out of your day to watch and get some info on what's happening in the tropics. It's certainly, probably in my mind, going to be a historic storm coming up. Rapid intensification is being called from what is just starting out as a tropical storm right now, called Helene in the Western Caribbean, within 2 days. Expecting a major hurricane just within 48 hours. That is mind-blowing, honestly, in some facets. Really wish the best for those in Florida, which are getting the brute force of this. So wish the best for everybody around there. We're going to go into the forecast right now. We're your source for your first alert to your eye on the tropics. For those of you who are on YouTube and Facebook, again, I do see your comments. I'm going to get to that. I know I keep promising I'm going to get to it, and then I keep not getting to it. But I promise you I will get to it after the first alert on the tropics, because mainly I think I'm going to answer maybe a few of your questions or comments through this segment anyways. So, kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and I don't have to repeat myself, I guess. I mean, I still love repeating myself, and I'm still fine with doing that, but you get the point. Anyways, let's get straight into it. Tropical Storm Helene. It just formed at the top of the hour, 10 a.m. Central Time. That is the live look of it, and on a satellite picture right now, it's got a good amount of convection wrapped around its core, mainly on the eastern side. It's been fighting a bit of wind shear on the western side over the past 24 hours. And it's the only reason it's kind of been slow getting itself to form in the first place, mainly from the shear on the western side near the Yucatan Peninsula. It's going to it's moving slowly but surely north and west, mainly out into the Gulf of Mexico. It's going to basically go in between the Yucatan Peninsula and some of those Caribbean islands there. And that's probably the base case scenario for it because it keeps the core of that storm intact and over water as well. Once some of that convection starts to wrap itself around, especially on the western side where it looks to be mainly dry out right now, that's when trouble is going to start to happen. Once it closes itself with a central circulation, that's when it's going to rapidly intensify. You can even see some hints of that in some of the cloud cover just starting on the end of this loop, just on the east side of, I can't pronounce that town, Chetuma, Chetumal. I'm so sorry if I said that wrong. I think you get the point, though. You see on the edge of the loop, at the very end of it, we're starting to see a little bit of convection growing on the southwest corner of the low pressure, because that's all tropical systems are. Low pressure is the end of the day. I'm really worried about that, honestly, moving forward. And let's get straight into the forecast of what we're getting called for, or what we're calling for in the next couple hours, next couple days. Let's get straight into it. All right, so future track. It is now, again, Tropical Storm Helene, not potential Tropical Cyclone 9 anymore. So yeah, it's up to 40 miles an hour of wind currently at this moment. Excuse me, 45, my bad. It's moving northwest at 12 miles an hour. By the end of today, it should still be a tropical storm, and by the first thing tomorrow, that's when it already becomes a hurricane, just within 24 hours alone. Then this starts to turn to the right, which is good news for us because it keeps it in the eastern edge of the Gulf of Mexico, for us meaning the Arklatex. Then this is going to continue to ride up the east side of the Gulf of Mexico, becoming a strong Cat 3 here by Thursday morning. So within 24 hours of Wednesday morning, within 48 hours of now, again, that's when we're calling for that strong Cat 3 storm. 115 miles an hour, by the way, is, again, a strong major hurricane. And this could have the potential to even grow into a Cat 4 right before landfall. If you look at landfall, the timing, somewhere between Thursday afternoon and evening on the Florida Panhandle. Again, don't be surprised if this is even a Cat 4 or Cat 5. I surely am not. Now, last point about the Arklatex here for the moment. We're looking at potentially for the potential for Cat 4, Cat 5 winds again on Thursday night. But last thing I want to stress with this, at least for the Arklatex, is that look at it. It's still completely dry. We're not expecting any impacts, at least from the landfall. Now, once this makes landfall, it's going to quickly move northward. It should be a tropical storm by the time it reaches Georgia, but by its speed, it'll still have 50-mile-an-hour winds with it into northern Georgia, and with lots of torrential rain for areas of Alabama, Georgia, and the Carolinas as well. Now, if you notice, this is going to start to hook westward, especially look at all of the rain hooking westward as well into Friday. Some of that rain could hook as far as the Arklatex. There you go. With just some stray bits of showers. That's why we only have a 20% chance of rain in for your Friday. And there's even some models hinting at some of that could hang around for Saturday too, as the storm kind of takes a wicked western hook once it gets inland, and it'll just dump its remnants in for Friday and especially on Saturday and throughout the region there. All right, so that is where it is going. This is the result of where it is going. So again, all that heavy rainfall, especially the storm surge, going right through northern Florida, Georgia, Carolinas, eastern Alabama, and Tennessee are looking to get the brunt force of this, especially with the rain. For us here in the Arklatex, I mean, it curls around a little bit to the west, which could give maybe a few more chances for wet weather in for, say, the northern half of the Arklatex by DeQueen and Texarkana. Those areas could get as high as, say, maybe even 2 inches of rain. Might be generous, but I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. Overall, the rest of the Arklatex is mainly going to hold dry in from that. Most of the wet weather that you're seeing along the I-20 corridor southward is mainly going to be from the cold front for tomorrow, which is hopefully going to give us around 1/4 of an inch of rain here from Wednesday alone. All right. So that's the forecast I have for you. Excuse me. From, I was about to say Hurricane Helene. Thankfully, it's not hurricane yet again. It's just newly formed tropical storm, 45-mile-an-hour winds. Now, I'm going to get into some of your comments, and we're going to free flow this just a little bit. I have time. There's nothing coming up at 11 on this stream, KSLA-News12.com. Let's look first of all at Facebook. I just clicked on YouTube real quick. I don't see anything on YouTube for the moment, comment-wise, for the 5 of you currently watching. All right, back to Facebook. We're going to go for oldest comment. Those of you who've been the most patient to the newest comment, I'm going to come for you last. Lewis, with no rain anytime soon, will the drought get any worse? Well, there is rain coming again for tomorrow. And secondly, especially with Helene and the remnants of Helene hooking westward, you could actually get some of those stray chances of rain showers again Friday into Saturday. And you're looking at overall over the next 7 days, overall an inch of rain. So that will still help your drought out, and you're still getting a chance of rain here again, mainly coming tomorrow and on Friday. So both those rain chances are coming pretty steadily here over the next 3 to 4 days for you then. I know, to be fair, next week, next work week that is looking pretty dry, and that could get our drought a little worse, but at least for the short term, things are looking okay. Especially even Texarkana. That's actually getting the little more rain than the rest of the region here locally. Kim, is it going to be coming to North Carolina, rain and winds? Winds, meh. It'll probably have some strong wind gusts, a little bit, up to probably 30 to 40 miles an hour, just a very weak tropical kind of winds, so to speak, in North Carolina there for you. I'm actually going to put myself full screen. I'm going to bring up the graphics if I need to help me provide some evidence, so to speak. Yeah, so that's that. But I'm going to keep myself full screen while I'm answering you guys' questions just based on my own knowledge. North Carolina, so yeah, just a few little minor tropical storm winds, so to speak. But you're definitely going to be getting a lot of rain. And keep in mind, you're getting the brunt force of the rain. The worst side of a tropical system is always the right side, which is right where you are going to be on. So North Carolina is still getting inches of rain, plural. It's probably looking like 3 to 4 potentially there. Lewis, I'm in Texarkana. Why ask about the drought? Oh, you were just saying where for me to mention the reference for the drought. I gotcha. All right, so hopefully I answered your question there. And then Kim, I'm outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. The further east you are, actually, the better for North Carolina standards. But Charlotte's still going to be caught up in the thick of the wet weather, especially on Friday. It's going to be an actual downpour in for you guys for most of the day Friday. All right, Mark, hello. What is it looking like for inland Dixie County, Old Town? Old Town, Dixie County. Well, if I remember correctly, I'm still getting used to the county names around here. I got to admit that. But I believe Dixie County, I need to look at a map. Dixie County, I believe, is up by, well, first of all, county-wise. This is testing my knowledge, Mark, by the way. That is for darn sure. I know it's not Louisiana. I know that for, I'm pretty sure, I'm triple checking, but I'm pretty sure Dixie County is up by Texarkana. And I believe Arkansas. I know that there's a Dixie County, Florida. Oh, Dixie County, Florida. You might be talking about that. If you're not, that's okay. But anyways, I'm just going to talk about the wet weather for Texarkana, but I'm pretty sure that's where Dixie County is. If you're from Dixie County, Florida, then you're in the brunt force of everything, the storm surge, which is actually likely to be called 10 to 15 feet. Yeah, it's getting pretty bad there. On top of that, 5 inches of rain. It's not looking good if you're in Dixie County, at least Florida. For Arklatex, Dixie County, again, just looking at just an inch of rain here from the combination of the cold front tomorrow morning and the few chances of wet weather that are coming from the remnants of Helene here later on this work week. I don't know why I had to think about what the name of the storm was for a second. It's not like I haven't been saying it 15 times on the stream. Oh, Florida, Dixie County, Florida. Thank you. Thank you for the clarification, Mark. I appreciate it. I just saw your comment there. Okay, Dixie County, Florida. So, yeah, you're right in smack in the Big Bend. it's going to be worse. It's where you're getting the brunt force again of everything. The storm surge, 10 to 15 feet. Especially if you're on the coastline, they're calling for you to evacuate. That is for darn sure. Especially with how high the storm surge can be, and especially because this system is going to be moving, actively moving. This is not going to be one of those storms that kind of just sits and meanders and barely walks on shore with 5-mile-an-hour speed. It's probably going to be going at a steady 15 to 20 miles an hour, which means it's over more quickly, but it also helps the winds gain a little bit more momentum. It also helps the storm surge to get a lot more momentum on shore in the process as well. So I hope that answered your question, Mark. I appreciate that. I'm actually from Tallahassee and Leon County. I lived in Leon County in the Big Bend a little while back in my own previous history. Edna says, where are you coming from? I am in Denison, Texas. I have to look where Denison is, because I definitely have not heard of that here locally. While I'm looking that up, Kim, thank you. Oh, I see somebody. All right. But thank you. Sorry. I phased out there for a second. All right, Kim, you're welcome very much for the forecast on North Carolina. Anyways, real quick while I look up. Got distracted there for a second. Free-flowing this a little bit more. Running low on the coffee. Denison, Texas. Denison, Texas. Denison, Texas. That is north side of Dallas. Oh, man. Well, I'm not sure if you're going to get any wet weather that far away, honestly. The cold front's already passed you guys if you're over by Dallas. The rain from the cold front hit Dallas yesterday, actually, and now it's kind of just stalled out. That's the reason we haven't got the cool down from the cold front yet. Again, that comes here into the Arklatex locally for tomorrow. Tomorrow. So yeah, appreciate it. All right, so I think that's all the comments I have from Facebook here for the moment. I'll continue to answer those as they continue to pop up. I'm just checking on Facebook real quick. Yeah, it's all good. I think I've answered the questions nice and dandy. So yeah. Oh, Denise. Oh my goodness. Oh, we are getting more comments and questions. I'm actually going to take a quick break. It's getting a little close to 11. I'm going to stay with you guys. Again, we just need 2 commercials breaks in this stream period to make it last. I'll be back wrapping up this episode. But before we wrap up this episode, I will make sure that I answer your comments and questions. Again, one more time, just going to take a quick break, sip, cheers to you, and we'll talk about more on Helene after this break. Stick with us. There we go. I'm unmuted. Welcome back. This is the last block before I head out in just a little while. I'm going to answer your guys' questions again on Facebook if you're typing to us on Facebook.com. Again, we're on the live stream here for today talking all about Helene, which is likely going to become a major hurricane here within the next 2 days. It's going to be a rapid intensification process and mostly going to hit areas of northern Florida first, making direct impact and landfall on there sometime between Thursday afternoon to Thursday evening. Which thankfully for us here in the Arklatex, we're just getting a slight chance of wet weather actually from Helene for Friday and for Saturday, but nothing severe, and everything from it is going to be stray showers really at best here for your Friday and Saturday. First of all, Valerie and Jonathan, thank you guys for sending in your comments. I know you literally sent them in right before I decided to take a break. That was not me dodging you at all. Again, I was just making sure we got 2 commercial breaks in before we ended the stream, which I did. Is my legal and money obligation. So, yes. Anyways, let's get to it. You guys have waited long enough. Thank you guys for again staying patient and also watching this as well. If you have any questions or want me to pull up a graphic again, just let me know. I can pull up anything and everything, pretty much. Valerie asks, what about Gulf Shores in a camper? Well, first of all, Gulf Shores in a camper, that's kind of a fine line. Let's look at the map, shall we? Let's go back to this rainfall potential map. I'm going to bring it up real quick. Get their station bug out of here so you can see me a little better. I know that's zoomed into the Arklatex. Let me fix that right now. There we go. All right. So Gulf Shores, that's what I thought. You're kind of on the fine line between getting the bulk of the rain showers and the bulk of the impacts to not really getting anything at all in the slightest. So, yeah, I'm going to let this play out. Let's see if I can zoom. I can zoom in. See, Gulf Shores right on the coastline of Alabama. It's kind of right on the fine line between getting a lot of rain and just only a little bit with only a few showers, few stray showers expected. Wind-wise, I think you'll be fine in a camper. I think you'll be okay. You're on the west side of the storm, which is the better side of the storm. It'll get probably a little windy, but not terrible. So I think overall you'll be okay. I just think it's going to be a rainy and windy day, but nothing extraordinary, say, like what the coastline of northern Florida is getting. Again, overall, especially over towards like Pensacola, and I'd probably say if you're over by Destin, then it's a little more worrisome. But if you're in Gulf Shores, then I think you're okay. It's just going to be a rainy day. You're going to have to sit inside. It's going to be a lousy day if you try to get anything done outside, so to speak, in Gulf Shores, Alabama. Love your beaches, by the way. So thank you for the question again, Valerie. And the last thing I see on Facebook for now, again, submit your questions on anytime. I will continue to answer them as long as they're ones that are willing to answer. But I'm on my last question here for now. What about Minden, Louisiana? All right, so let's get back to the local standpoint here with the rainfall potential. Again, most of our rain here locally on this rainfall potential map for the next 7 days is mainly just from the cold front that's going to be coming through late tonight into tomorrow. Again, that's mainly for our morning commute tomorrow morning. That's going to bring us scattered showers across most of the Arklatex, including Minden, which I will zoom into. I know it's not going to pop up the town name, but it's in between Shreveport and Ruston, just a little bit on the north side of I-20. I think you could pinpoint it out on the map. But you're expecting somewhere around 1/4 of an inch, maybe a 1/2 inch of wet weather. Even that might even be generous. I'd probably say 1/4 of an inch overall is what you're expecting here for the next 7 days. And most of that should just mainly come from tomorrow. Most of I-20 southward shouldn't see much of an impact at all from Helene. Again, the remnants of Helene are mainly affecting areas to the north side of the Arklatex by Texarkana, which could get up to an inch of rain, mainly from those straight kind of showers coming through on Friday and Saturday. So most of us, at least, again, right along the I-20 corridor, just mainly worried about the rain on for tomorrow. And then it's dry. It's going to be bone dry after tomorrow, looks like, for a while. Hopefully that answered your question. For both Valerie and Jonathan, thank you guys for asking that. I appreciate it. I always love answering questions. A lot. Anyways, let's go over to YouTube. YouTube does not have any questions still. Thank you guys for watching on the live stream, KSLA.com, and just anywhere you're watching our live stream from. Appreciate it. Always for watching the First Alert Weather Breakdown. All right, I don't see any other comments on Facebook. I'm going to wrap up this episode real quick, and if you send anything while I'm wrapping things up, then I'll answer it. But guys, we do this every single weekday at 10:30. This week, all we're going to be talking about is Helene. Basically, my plan is to talk about it again here for tomorrow and see how much it's ramped itself up and see if there's any changes to the track, any changes to the forecast and whatnot, closer to its actual landfall. And then the landfall itself is going to be on Thursday, and we're going to track that here also live on our show coming up on Thursday. Friday, I think we'll switch back to our normal schedule. And, yeah, so we usually have a meteorologist chat every single week as well. That got pushed back into next week, for example. I was going to do that for tomorrow, but no. I'd rather be talking about Helene, especially if you guys have family in northern Florida, anywhere across the southeast, Georgia and eastern Alabama going to get swamped with wet weather. We're going to be talking about Helene again Wednesday and Thursday, providing you guys updates and staying first alert about that forecast. Even though it's not in the Arctic, again, you family members well off to our east. We'll keep you here first alert again here on First Alert Weather Breakdown. If you have any topics you want us to discuss on a more sunny day for our region, you can email us weatherbreakdown@ksla.com. We answer anything and everything. We explain things. We talk about different forecasts for regional forecasts, so to speak. We'll have a sports forecast actually coming back on Friday here for the weekend. That'll be cool. Again, we stream every single weekday at 10:30 a.m., mainly on KSLA.com, on our live stream, and on YouTube. That's kind of fairly new. We started doing that last week, and really appreciated doing that, again, because I love hearing back questions and comments from you all. All right. I don't think I see any more comments on Facebook. Nothing more on YouTube. I'm going to go ahead and end everything together. Again, thank you guys for watching so much. Sorry if I'm looking way off to the side and it looks like I'm just talking into space. Hello, random imaginary figure. No, I'm just looking at our laptop with all the comments and YouTube and Facebook just to check all of that out for you over there. I didn't even realize I wasn't even back on camera. Hello. Anyways, I've been looking over here for most of the time. But that's just because that's where the Facebook and YouTube comments are. Anyways, you have a great rest of your day. We'll do this again here tomorrow. We'll see if we're doing Facebook again. I'm not sure we're going to do that. We were mainly testing it out for today, but we'll see. Anyways, you can definitely catch us every single weekday, 10:30 a.m. That includes tomorrow for your Wednesday. You have a great rest of your Tuesday. I'll see you on KSLA.com and on the YouTube live stream for KSLA News 12. Again, right here tomorrow at 10:30. I've been talking too much. You have a great rest of your Tuesday. I'll talk to you later. See you tomorrow, same time.